The Court of Public Opinion is a part of the Amateur Radio Network. Thank you for listening to the Court of Public Opinion. No elaborate opening. I'm just going to share my thoughts on some things. I'm going to kind of go backward, but starting with the media war. And we're caught in the middle, as you can tell. Not that I think a lot of people will take sides and have, but there was always a big question mark with a lot of people about Alex Jones. I don't believe he sincerely would ever mislead people. I think he gets emotional like everyone else out there. These topics can agitate and upset people. That's what bothers me about this whole propaganda war. We're going to go backwards. We're going to talk about September. This was a screenshot from ERF Ministries from Scotty Clark. Now, the reason I'm going backwards is because we're about 6 months into it. Okay, now this actually is where the sun, they said with Jupiter, I'm sorry, right there, that big white dot right there, as we zoom in a little closer, that is where Jupiter sits. Now, a lot of people are a little skeptical about the media, but one thing I can tell you is the Bible prophecy scriptures and people who follow Bible prophecies are a lot more, are attempting to be more accurate about news, because a lot of people are disillusioned by the media. But one thing I've noticed about prophecy news, this is where you have to have discernment, is you don't want to buy everything everybody says, but it's been a consistent thing that a lot of people are trying to be more accurate when it comes to these kind of things, this being very significant coming this September. Okay, let's jump ahead. This is what's going on currently. Mark Zuckerberg, as you know, he's not a fan of alternative media, so he's playing a significant role on social media. Now, over a year ago, we started a social media exodus because I really believed a year ago I saw this coming. A lot of people saw what was on the radar, and that's why we're talking about these things, because a lot of things were obvious over the course of a couple years where things were going. And I think that's kind of been pointed out over and over if you follow radio news, talk radio. And I guess what I'm trying to point out is what provoked us to go a step further, because like just the headline news could upset anybody. A lot of the stuff that you're hearing about, you find on your feed, I don't know that we have to even report on it necessarily, because I think what's going to happen from this point on, and what has been happening, and I started way back in 2003 following the shock and awe. As much as I wanted to believe that there was a good possibility that we could be strategically in Iraq, the only reason I believed is maybe it would help bring some civility, and at that point, we believed the reports. We never questioned these things. We just assumed that this is what was going on. And at that time, a lot of different people were already way beyond that point. They were already questioning 9/11. And I didn't follow news, so I couldn't possibly really understand that. And as I got more mature, as I'm getting to know the topic about the truth movement, about 9/11, it started to make more sense that there's things that are missing here. There's gaps in information. And usually when there's gaps in information, unless somebody's questioning it, unless you're pursuing to understand the topic better, you probably just leave it at that, or just assume, okay, there's probably more to it. And I don't know, but I don't have the time to invest in it. I'm not talking about opinions. I'm not talking about that, because opinions, like anything else nowadays, you better be very careful how you share your opinions, okay? Because it's looking to me, the more you try to have an opinion, the more you're going to be silenced. So I'm just talking about the things we've been seeing and just trying to better understand what's going on. And I'm here to say that if I'm processing, this is my post. If I'm going to get striked, I'm going to get a strike. I'm going to take whatever it is I need to do, because here's the thing. No matter what anybody says, what anybody believes, to me, this is the most important thing. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to share some of the experiences we've had in this, because to me, this is the most important scripture. If you can at least appreciate this and go a step beyond that, to me, that's more important to me. Some people accuse us of proselytes. Hey, by this point, we'll be accused of anything. We'll be accused of being liars, cheaters, blah, blah, blah. As far as I'm concerned, as long as I get one thing right, I know I'm a sinner and I needed saved. If I can at least get to that point, that's it. Because I realized after watching videos, and you could slice and dice up these issues, the topics, and then try to compare it to, but we're going to enter into such confusing times. If you can at least get that and have a Bible, because they're going to eviscerate the Bible, the Bible's going to be eliminated, and everything's moving towards a gay agenda. The gay agenda is going to be the status quo. It already is. It hasn't fully come into fruition. It will be the status quo. You will not hear Christianity. It will be removed. You will not see it in media. You will not see anything uttered Christian. You won't be able to post. It will be completely removed. Okay? We're at the end of the church age. So you should know this, that anything Christian will be removed. I know this and I feel it in my heart. That if we're going to talk about Jesus, this is the little small window we have. Okay, we all have an opportunity here to witness for each other. Does that mean that it's going to eviscerate Christianity? No, but it will be removed from media. You can guarantee it. They do. The last thing in the world they want to hear is Jesus in anything. Not religion, not Catholic, not Protestant, just plain old Jesus, the man himself that died on the cross, who resurrected from the grave and was raised up to heaven. That we're not talking about religion. Religion is ruined everything. Look what religion has done. It's caused more division. It has caused more wars, more everything, politics included. The man Jesus, who is God and King, that's all you need to know. As long as you believe and you know that in your heart you are saved by the blood of Jesus, you got to at least get that right. Because, and I have a story to share about the lost and insecure. A lot of us will not be secure with what we see around us. It's just that simple. You cannot rely on what's going on in this world. You don't know how quick things are changed from moment to moment. My relationship with Jesus, here's the thing. I know if I'm not doing the right and I got to get on my knees, the burden is on me to start changing this. When I look at these topics, I realize the real casualty are the kids. If we aren't articulating what's going on, okay? Your primary concern is protect kids, okay? And if you can't do that, at least what we've tried to do is try to share topics regarding everything that comes down to the safety and security of your home, okay? This is the front line. Your home is the front line, okay? They wouldn't have gone so far. Now, let me leave it at that. They wouldn't have gone so far to change the laws of marriage, okay? If you can get this scripture right, too. Because there's not going to be any way that people are going to be able to express their faith unless they just show it through discipleship and love. And that's not going to always be through words. It's going to be through actions. And to me, there's just so much here that if I had one more chance to talk to you guys, how important this is, because I think that window is closing, okay? I'm pretty sure if anybody's trying to prove any evidence of anything that's going on, it's obvious to me, it's obvious to a lot of you, that if we can't get that right, we're in trouble anyway, okay? It's a reality. To me, people are they're going to be looking for the Antichrist, and they're going to look for somebody that's totally opposition to. He's not going to be like that. He's going to look like the Catholic Jesus. That's to me what the Antichrist will look like. He'll be angelic. He'll be very beautiful. He'll be very appealing. To me, he's going to look like a Catholic Jesus. Because in the Bible, this is just a view I'm taking. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but everything to me seems closer to the Antichrist looking like the Catholic Jesus, okay? Because if you think about it, and I'll make a point to this, because, in fact, let me just post it here. Let's look at, again, this is from Scotty's YouTube channel. Now, when you're looking at this, Now, there's a lot of information he lists in his description box. What I'm just trying to use and point out here is this is the sign, if you can see, pointing right into the middle. That is the Virgo. And that sign in the heaven, what makes this so unique, he goes into great detail because, as I said before, September seems very significant. And the reason we're going to discuss September as we wrap this up, I have a few more things I want to say about September, because the trailer for it came out, and last year, because of the weird conspiracy that a lot of people were throwing out there, well, I mean, it wasn't just a conspiracy. I mean, when I look at these trailers, they're getting worse and worse. It's scary. I mean, literally scary. And what made this even more scary is that the trailer had came out today, and if you got a chance to watch it, I mean, it is downright spooky, and I do not know what they opened up, because there are other things that just cannot be explained when they're opening up these portals. Okay, what a lot of people have been following CERN, and then, being as you go into this end of summer, and then, those trailers are already coming out promoting this movie, and after what happened this fall with the clowns, like, oh my goodness, these are scary. So these are things I'm looking at. We're going forward. And to me, Jesus had Middle Eastern descent, okay? He would have had more qualities, Jewish, black, or Egyptian, one of those qualities. And if we look at the genealogy of Jesus Christ, we have to look at what kind of people. I mean, you have to think along the lines of his heritage, which King David going back, okay, and that location being more olive tone. I'm looking at those things. And the Jesus that we see in the Catholic Church is this, let me say, he's more of like an Anglo-Saxon. And if you really find out the story about King James and how King James had all the scholars come together and try to compile the Bible together, that there was an artist that had drew a picture of Jesus, which is now famously the one you see in a lot of the cards that like at funeral homes, and just like the little prayer cards. That was I want to make sure I get this right, but I want to say the Renaissance, that this artist depicted his friend was actually the one that was his face when he was free. I want to say hand free. I just messed that up. Basically, he was the one that was sitting on the chair when he painted the picture that was now really popular. And those are some stories. I'm not saying that these are true, but I'm just saying these are some of the things I kind of put in my schema. Like I just kind of, I put that in my back pocket. Some of the things I pick and choose, and I pull something away from that, and I was like, okay, I'm going to leave that I'm going to kind of put that in my file cabinet in my head, okay? These things kind of stick out from time to time, and I'm thinking, if I'm looking for Jesus, okay, and it says in the Bible, if they say he's out in the desert, do not go, okay? So I'm thinking, okay, and then there was another verse in the Bible. It says, look up, for your redemption draweth nigh, and if he's like lightning coming from the east to the west, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. So he's obviously coming like, it'll be like a lightning storm, okay? And then also, if he's coming like from the east to west, and then he'll come like a thief in the night, it sounds to me it's going to happen at a dark time. It could be at night, or it could be completely just a dark time like now. But there's some significant things that are happening. And like I said, while I was wrapping this up, while we went backward, starting from September going back, okay? September is a significant event because of this star in heaven. It's a sign in the heavens. That's why we've covered some of this in the third watch. That sign, and I would hope that you go to the description box, because I'm not going to have time to explain it, but Scotty does explain it about the sign in the heavens. It's that much more important that we talk about that going forward. So what makes talking about September significant, because this trailer just came out today, September, and we're looking already ahead. And I want to point to why I believe prophecy is important. And this image, to me, is like, they rolled it out this past October. I mean, I guess whatever was about these scary clowns that were coming into people's neighborhoods, I mean, freak people out. Okay, so that was this past October. What are they planning this time? Because, see, believe me, somebody has up to something. Okay, these things aren't just like planned, within a week. They're like, somehow, this is why I look at Bible prophecy as a kind of a forecast. Okay, so we're looking already into September, and a forecast for that, to me, is obvious. They're already rolling this out. Okay, so to me, news is kind of the same way. It's an indicator of what's going on in America. Where we're going to be in 6 months in America, looking at what's going on. I don't know that everybody has it figured out. I think it's a little unpredictable. This is why a lot of people, including Lisa Haven, are saying we're in uncharted territory. Yeah, I think that's really true. That's why it's hard to forecast. So I'm looking at this sign, and it starts to really kind of focus in as something very significant, because you cannot tell predicting what's going to happen from day to day. There's been a lot of sketchy reports. There's a lot of infighting in the media. You're not really going to get any news. It's all convoluted. And to me, it starts to look to me that prophecy news is more reliable. Now, here's where it gets tricky. And you got to make sure that you know this. You got to have discernment, because there are going to be people that are going to start looking to prophecy, and you're going to see that's when all these false prophets coming out, acting as if they are like, I don't know, prophetic voices. And I think the real test is going to be what's ahead. A lot of people have tested the waters on this topic about Bible prophecy, but I will say this. Okay, it is a foretelling. It is like a forecast, but I would not hinge on everything anyone else. All people say, it's going to be really hard for somebody that's new to this. Now, believe me, this is why people have to get this part of it figured out, because you might not have access to a Bible to verify this. And believe me, if you really want to test everything out that you're hearing in the news regarding prophecy news, you're going to need a Bible to confirm it, because too many people will just, go based on their opinion and judgment. And it says, lean not on your own understanding. This is where faith is going to kick in. People are going to have faith now. And why do we say that? Because at this point, it's going to be too hard to tell the difference between a lie and the truth. The times are so deceiving, it will be literally difficult. For somebody who's following and studying, it's going to be a little bit better, okay? For someone that doesn't really get this, unless they have like a lot of the gifts of the Spirit, to me, it's going to be really hard for that average person to know the difference. I mean, they're not even going to think they're being deceived. But everything out there right now looks to me, looking at and just giving an early forecast of this, it is going to be very difficult to decide what's true or not. They're making it, they've laid this out. They've created a very dishonest media, a very dishonest social feed. I mean, everything out there that's going to be put out there, you're not going to know if it's even real news anymore, if it's fake or not. They've already made sure they've laid that out. So this is why I think forecasting in the scriptures even that much more important. And then it's going to get even more tricky, because people are going to start turning to prophecy. And I guarantee the real tricky place is going to be where Bible prophecy becomes the main believe me, it'll be like a main source of news, and that's where the false prophecies, it's going to be way worse when it comes to Bible prophecy than anything. So my concern is now, forecasting what's ahead, look what's going on with that sign. That is going to be your point. That's going to be like a point of direction. Listen to Scotty, he tells more about that. I'd rather hear it from somebody who knows this topic a lot better and who's genuinely trying to seek out the right information. Most of the prophecy scholars that I follow are really genuinely trying to make sure they get this figured out and correctly, biblically. Thank you. The Court of Public Opinion is a part of the Amateur Radio Network.